So we want to solve equation of the form x squared in it. So how do we solve? When we solve this, we just write, I think you learned that last year, right? And that was in one of the exam questions. A lot of people lost the mark for not putting plus and minus. So the answer will be positive 5 or negative 5. So there's two answers to a quadratic equation. Does that make sense? No. Okay, let me explain again. Now, why there's two answers? If you square 5, what does it give you? And if you square negative 5, what does that give you? Also 25. That's why you have two answers. Does that make sense? Why is it? Because when you square negative, you get positive. That's why there's two answers. Yeah. Right, does that make sense? Plus or minus? Let's try the next one. Now, if there's a 2 in front, what do you do first? Very nice. Good. And then what do you do next? You square root. And if you square root, what do you have to do? No. Very nice. Plus or minus 3. Plus or minus 3. I don't know. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. All right, now, what if there's a 1/5 in front? You times it by what?
5.
Thank you. Good. Times it by 5.
Plus or minus 10.
So you get x squared equal to 100. And if you square root, you times it by 5. Because there's a 5 in the denominator. X equals square root of 100. What's missing? All right. And what do you get? Plus or minus 10. Done. All right. So that's what you have to do. I'm sure you can finish the exercise in under 10 minutes because it's super easy. Like if you're really paying attention. All right. Let's do the next one. But, yep. Go.
You understand? Okay, so that would be like a minute to explain.
Yeah.
10 minutes for Mr. Dolly to.
But that's a different example. That's easy. That's super easy.
The same thing, say like differently. It took you 10 minutes.
No. Simultaneous equations are harder. This is easy. You just have to do square root. You don't have to do anything. All right. Okay.
Seriously.
All right. Let's do this. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. X squared. Next one. Actually, that's funny. Now, these questions, you cannot square root. What you need to do, you leave it in exact surd form. That's called the surd form. Because, well, it comes from the word absurd. And when they discovered that more than 2,000 years ago, they found this number very strange. Because you can't change it as a fraction. That's why.
They called it absurd.
Yeah, now, well, there's a story behind it. We call fractions, like things like 1/3 or 2/5. These are called rational numbers. Like someone being rational. And these numbers are irrational. Look. Absurd means irrational. They cannot be written as a fraction. That's why it's called surd. Now, to make it not root, we call it surd. Yeah, go.
For example, 5.
Yeah, like that. So,
Well, as far as being absolute, question mark.
let me stop this. Told you, let me explain again. Because every time you see a square equal to a number, you get plus or minus. It works for rational and irrational numbers, surd as well. Okay? Now, actually, that's a fair question. Let me show you. Ask me. Watch. If I square If I square root 17, does that give me 17? Yes. What if I square negative root 17? Does that give me 17? That's why it's plus or minus. Does it make sense? Thank you. All right, next question. It can also express your answer as not sir, but in 3 decimal place. So you divide by 3 first, which is 7, and then you square root your answer. This one to 1 decimal place requires the use of your calculator. 64. Say again? No, it's a 1 decimal. This one, sir, you can't do it on a calculator. 2.6. So you write plus or minus 2.6. Does that make sense? All right. Pretty easy stuff. Okay. And we've got some slightly harder questions which we'll go through, but I think you know how to do it because you're pretty bright. Yeah. So, no, not because you're all very intelligent. So I'm going to ask a student to help me. Maybe Bianca knows the answer to the first question. What would you do first? X squared minus 64 is 0. Ah, very nice. 2. Both sides, right? So what do you get? X squared equal to what? Yes. And then x equal? 8. No. What's that one? And what else? Yes. Very nice. Otherwise you lose your 1 mark. All right. Plus or minus 8. Okay. Thank you. Can someone else try? Watch the next one. Now, how do I find x squared? You subtract both sides by 7. Now, there's an issue with the negative 7. Why there's an issue? No, not because of plus or minus. If you square root negative 7, what will happen? Math error. You cannot square root negative. Why can't you square root negative? Because there's nothing squared gives you a negative number, right? It always gives you a positive number. So if I square, so that's no solution. So you cannot square root. Yeah, no solution. So remember, when there's a negative, you cannot square root it. No solution. Yep. You have to write, yes, you have to write this first. You have to have a negative there with the square before you can conclude that. Yep.
So why would they invent the quadratic solution?
There is a solution. We'll learn how to factorize. But this one, oh no, actually there is a solution. It's actually this, where you learn that in extension 2 maths. Imaginary. Imaginary numbers. Yeah. But for now, just say no solution. All right. No, write this. Write no solution.
So what if I write 7? Wait, sir, can I write?
No. Yeah, but better write this. Yeah. All right. Now you have to write this. If you don't have the plus or minus, it's still 0, okay? Possibly, if I mark it. If someone else mark it, they give you nothing. So make sure you write no solution. Okay. All right, next question. All right, what's the first step?
So they should, they're math teachers, they should know what that is.
All right, what do I do first? Plus 5. And what do you get?
Wait a second. I don't get that.
Because you were talking. Plus 5.
No, just wait. Why is there positive?
Oh, because it tells you x is positive, which comes later on. So ignore that first. All right, what's the next step? Divide by 3, which is 4. And how do I find x?
No, it's only positive.
Yes, because of this. Very nice. You have to interpret. If they say x is positive, do not put minus. You just write x is 2. Yeah. Get it? All right, next question. All right, what's the first step? Minus 13. Because you say x is positive, you do not write negative. Does that make sense? Whereas this one, you have to put plus or minus. Okay. All right, what do you get? Negative x squared equal to negative 10. What do I do next? Times by negative 1. What do you get? X squared is 10. And then what do I do next? You only put negative. Do not put plus or minus, only negative. Why? Because you say x is negative. Does that make sense? So sometimes the question tell you which one to write. If they don't say, you have to write both.
Wait, so low key it gives you the
Low key give you the answers.
yeah.
What does that mean?
If you look back, instead of doing more maths, you just subtract the equation and says that x is small.
Yeah. Right. Good. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good. All right. Any other question? Which part? Did you write it down? Good. I'll come and explain to you. Like who?
I'm good at explaining things.
What about the